Hi, welcome to the 2021 White Hawk 28RL by Jayco. We're going to do a small tour on the outside of the trailer, and we're going to start at the front. First thing we're going to start with is the front storage compartment. There's a few things to look at here. Firstly, this is where you'll find your storage for your 30 amp power cord. This is what you would plug into the campground power. Also in this front storage compartment, you'll see your manual crank for the tongue jack. If you ever need to use the jack and you have no power, this is how you would do it. Also here you have the manual crank for the stabilization jacks. There's 4 stabilization jacks located at the 4 corners of the trailer. It's important that you use these to stabilize only, as they're not meant to level the trailer. Also in here you'll notice that we have this table. I'm not going to pull it out for you here all the way, but it's a nice table you can use either inside or outside of the trailer. We have a tire pressure gauge, as well as switching for the front running lights. Right next to this front storage compartment, we'll notice one of the running lights. Just want to point out the difference here. You might notice that the running lights have this extra piece on the front, and that is to house a camera body. Continue along the front. What we come to next is the battery storage area. This is a new unit, so we don't have the battery in it yet, but you can see the two 12-volt supply leads here. They would hook up to your battery. And right in front of that is your 30-pound propane bottle storage. This unit has 2 of them and is also equipped with the crossover regulator. Now what that means is this handle here is pointed in the direction of this tank, so the system will draw from this 30-pound bottle first. If the pressure drops below a certain amount determined by the regulator, it will automatically cross over and select from this bottle regardless of where this handle is pointing. So if you have the furnace cranked on a cold night, that's pretty handy. You don't have to go outside to manually switch it over. Now, we mentioned before that there is a manual crank for the electric tongue jack. This is where you'd use that. There's a rubber stopper here. You remove this and you may use the manual crank in here. The electric tongue jack also has this nice loading light, very handy if you're loading at night, as well as the electric up and down. Also on the front of this trailer, we have your safety breakaway switch. Now in the event that the tow vehicle is disconnected from your trailer, it'll pull this pin and the brakes on the trailer will engage. Conversely, if you notice that the brakes on the trailer are stuck on or not working quite the way you expect, it's also not a bad idea to come and check to make sure this pin wasn't partially pulled out. Maybe you got it caught on something when you were hooking up to your truck. That's where I would look though. And then right beside that we have our solar ready hookup. You can charge your battery. Continue along the outside of the trailer. The other off-door access to the front storage compartment. And of note in here, we have a battery disconnect. All power is disconnected now from the trailer, at least from this point on. You have your black tank flush valve. Hook your campground or house water hose up to here. You can use that to flush out your black tank. Continuing along the outside, we'll come to the output for your black and gray water tanks. We have access to the valves via these handles here, here, and here. Continue along the back. The next thing we come to is the 30 amp connection point. This is where you would hook that cord I showed you earlier up to the trailer and then to the campground power supply. Right below that, you can see the city water connection. This is the point at which you hook up basically the garden hose from your campground or from your house to put water to your trailer. Next to that, we have the main input for your cable satellite TV, as well as this nice outdoor shower. If you look straight up from here, you'll see that black piece right there. That is another housing for a camera. If you choose to upgrade or purchase that system, it is pre-wired and ready to go for you. You'll notice speakers underneath the awning as well as the awning light. Those speakers can be used with the system inside the trailer to listen to your music or radio outside the trailer under your awning. A few last things to note on the outside here. Fresh water tank fill point, or your potable water. This is where you put the water you would drink if you are going to be without basically the hose from the campground or your house to give you water. Next to that, we have the outside access to your hot water tank. A few things that are important to note here. We have your drain plug right here, your pressure relief valve here. If you're ever removing the drain plug, it's important that you open the pressure relief valve, otherwise this drain plug will shoot out of there like a rocket. And the last thing you want to note here is the reset for the appliance is located on the outside of the trailer here. Moving right next door, we have the venting for your refrigerator. Now it's important that this remains unobstructed for proper operation of the fridge. Airflow needs to be maintained for it to work right. Right below there, we have the exhaust for the furnace. It says hot right on it. I make a special note of it because it is underneath your awning and it does get very warm. So make sure you do not touch or pile or put anything in this area. Then we have an output and GFCI protected plug for a TV underneath your awning. Well, that sums up most of the outside. Let's take a look inside and see what kind of features we can see. Here we are inside the trailer. Directly in the door, we'll notice a fire extinguisher. And right next to that, we have your propane carbon monoxide detector. It's important that we test this periodically to make sure it's functioning properly, as it's an important piece of safety equipment. I usually suggest you press this button on the front of it every 6 months. And the best way to remember is do it daylight savings time. That way you can better remember, because you do it at the same time that you check the batteries in the smoke detector. There's also a button on here that you can press to test it periodically. However, I suggest you swap out the battery every 6 months just to make sure that it is maintained in a working capacity. There's a lot of important features in this area here. We have all the switching for your main lights on the trailer. We have security lights and the awning lights, as well as we have a switch to switch you between a fireplace or the water heater. Now, on trailers that only have a 30 amp power supply, you're unable to run the water heater and the fireplace at the same time. So it's important to know if one of them isn't working as you would expect, to come and look at this switch and make sure it's switched in the right position, either like it is now for fireplace or up for water heater. Right next to that, we have your command center. This is a little different than some of the models that we've had. What we want to do here is just give you a brief overview of what can be found here. Along the bottom, we have the programmable switching for lights. We have a button dedicated for your water pump, as well as a button dedicated for temperature control. So when you hit the temperature control button, you'll see that it comes up with this screen. Now to filter through that screen, we can press the select button. To pick a different screen, we can press this button here. And it'll cycle us through your gray and black water tank levels. You'll find your water pump and your electric heater, gas heater. You'll find your awning, your slides. Everything is in here. It's kind of difficult to go through the exact functioning of everything with the video. So I'm going to leave it at that, and if you have any questions, we'd be happy to help you. We could do something maybe a little more specific if you had specific questions, but either way, we're always available to take a phone call, and we'll do our best to help you out. So let's move on to the rest of the trailer here. Notice we've got these nice captain's chairs or recliners here. We have switching for the main lights and the dinette slide, as well as behind the love seat here we have the emergency exit for the main portion of the trailer. To operate this, you press down on the black tab, you push the red handle over, pull it out straight, and then push the window and handle straight out from the trailer until it's all the way outside the trailer. And then once that is done, you may pull this red tab and escape to safety. Next, we'll take a look at your range and oven combo here. All gas. Make sure you fold the glass top up before you light it. That's important. When you're in the lighting position, you'll be at the flame, and it'll line here and here. That light. Turn the igniter knob, it ignites. Light. Turn the igniter knob, lights. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The oven operates in the exact same way, with one important difference. When I'm sitting here like that, that's lined up with the flame, but there's no gas coming out. So this won't ignite the oven no matter how many times I turn it. In order for the gas to be released from, you must press in the knob at the same time that you turn the igniter. So that's the only difference between the regular top burners and the oven itself. Moving over to your refrigerator. These can be operated in gas only, auto, or electric only modes. Auto will automatically select electricity as its mode of operation if it's available. If not, it'll go to gas automatically. Now, one thing to note about gas, operating in the gas mode, is that once you've selected it, if you come back and you notice that your light's flashing and it's orange, then that could be an indication that, well, it is an indication that there's something not functioning normally with the gas and the refrigerator. The issue most likely, or most often I would say, is the valves aren't open at the bottles at the front. So check that. If not, and it's something more than that, you probably have to give us a call. Right below the fridge towards the floor here, we have the power center for the unit. This is where you'll find your breakers like you would find in a house, and fuses like you might see in your vehicle. Next, we'll take a look at your radio. Now, this radio has Bluetooth, auxiliary, and HDMI capabilities, as well as charging via USB. This unit also has a 2-zone system, zone 1 being inside the trailer and zone 2 being outside. So you can play the music, the radio, or whatever noise that you want to play either one zone at a time, so zone 1 by itself with zone 2 off, or you can do the opposite, zone 2 on and zone 1 off, or you can play with them. You can play music or whatever you want to do with both zones on. So that is pretty handy. Continue on into the rest of the tour here. We'll note there's another safety exit here that functions the exact same way as the previous one. Standard bathroom, nice size stand-up shower. You'll notice people are switching for all the accent lights, the main lights, and the fan. And then we come into the bedroom. And we'll note a couple things. We'll note the assisted storage underneath the bed. Have these nice props to hold it up so you don't have to try to hold it and wrestle your luggage or whatever it is you're storing underneath the bed. We also have another safety exit that again operates the exact same way as the previous one did. But going down beside the bed here, we'll note we have USB charging capabilities, 120 power, as well as switching for an accent light beside the bed here. Also something I find neat is this nice little piece of storage that's behind the cabinet. There's a good place to put a book, phone, tablet, whatever it is you like to do at night before you go to bed. One thing we'll also notice is the bedroom is set up for a TV as well. It doesn't come with one, but you have your output for the cable or satellite, as well as the 120 volt plug, and there is a spot on the wall to mount the TV. So coming back into the trailer here, couple things I'd like to note that I think I skipped over. One, this plug hides nice and neat down in the countertop. Press that button, pops up, pull it all the way up. Now you've got your plugs and you've got USB connectivity. To put it down, press in the red tab, it goes down, and just click it the rest of the way down. I'd like to know is the unit's GFCI. You'll note here there's no light on, and that indicates in this case that it's functioning properly. If I were to trip it or cause a fault, you'd see that a light comes on. That light indicates that the plug and anything on the load side of the plug isn't functioning properly. So basically what that means, this plug and anything else in here in your water, like a counter plug or the outside plugs, probably won't be looking. So if that's the case, come here and take a look and see if this needs to be reset. Lastly, before I leave you on this cold winter's day, I would like to note that when operating the air conditioner, if these baffles are closed, then the majority of the air is going to come from these ports that are located throughout the trailer. One in here, also one in the bathroom. However, if this baffle is open, the majority of the air will come down right from here and won't come from these various ports. Well, I can't think of anything else that I need to tell you. Doesn't mean I haven't missed anything. So if there's something else you'd like to know, or if you have any questions about anything I have talked about, feel free to give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you as best we can. Thank you.